Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got a lot of vowels. I can sort that out with e-close. I don't think there's a 7 here. E-close takes an R in front and a D and an S after. Okay, not great. U and W are a particularly bad pair of tiles to have. But a lot of floaters on the board, so I should have options. Through an N, I would have walnut, but with a poor rack leave. I don't have to play off U and W together, but I certainly need to play one of them. Wall is good, W-A-U-L, that would play off both. I don't have any of the hooks for e-close. Alu is good, A-L-E-W. And that plays above the L of e-close, running across the top, and not giving very much away. Clawt is good through the C, retaining the W. But not a great score. Opponent taking a while with his opening move. He could be about to bingo, which would put me in a tricky position because I'm not in a position to reply in kind. And if I can play wall, the rack leave of double ET could well lead to another problematic rack. Wull is good, which plays in column 5, W-U-L-L. That's quite nice, in that it gets rid of the W and the U. Wow! Nice bingo by my opponent, 75 points. He has provided an N for walnut, fortunately. Anything better? Well, my W can go next to the O, so is there something in column 10? I don't think so. The best I can see, well, this might be worth doing actually. W-E-W, 31 points is a good score, and the rack leave has some small merit, and I think this is better than walnut. Walnut, 18 points, so 13 fewer points and a rack leave of double E. This rack leave may be better than double E. I'm going with this, although it is providing a very juicy spot in column 11. I'm still going with it. Not great, but they are bingo-y tiles, bar the U. And I have lacunate through the C and cannulate, so it is good, and hopefully my opponent will be distracted with column 11, or indeed column 8 at the top. Tenacular is the third anagram of lacunate, but I think lacunate is best in terms of what it does to the board. I can't see a 7 with this rack, so any bingos through any other floaters? I guess the floating S is the most likely. Can't see anything through that. So what if lacunate is blocked? I've got ulna in column 8, which is quite nice. It sorts the rack out. Rack leave of AET is okay. And I may have something in column 11. Again, my opponent taking a while with his move, which last time led to a bingo. Another bingo now, especially if it stopped me bingoing, would put me in a tricky spot or at a significant disadvantage in the game. Now, do I have anything longer than ulna? Well, I have ulni, which is not bad. 27 points and a rack leave of 80. A couple of pairs to consider, or the same pair, NE. Can't see anything through that. It duplicates tiles on my rack. Now, what about the floating L? Can't see anything there. So I'm looking back at column 11 to see what the best I can do here is. My E, L, N and T can all go after OW, but only the T and E can go after NE. So I've got Tila down here. Well, my opponent has nearly blocked my bingo, but he hasn't. Cannulate would certainly have played, but Lacunate scores more and was my preferred option anyway. Fantastic. That is a nice looking rack, and I should be bingoing. Now, what about hooks for Lacunate? It either takes none, or it takes a D and an S. Which is it? I think it does take hooks. I think Tenacula takes nothing. And it's Cannulate, which doesn't take anything. Okay, not sure. The best lane on this board is column 11 for a 7-letter double-double. So let me have a look for one of those. I haven't seen anything so far. That looks promising. Can't see anything. G and M don't go great together. Megafogs through a G. Homages. Does that play? I don't think it does. I must remember the R front hook for E closes. Not proving very fruitful, this hunt for 7s. Just homages so far. Mangoes. No, I don't think so. Orgasmed onto a D. Romages is good. Does that go? No. That's a shame. Ah, well, it does because of recloses, and the M gets tripled. And I'm not placing a vowel next to this double letter square, so Romage is pretty good. It takes an F front hook, but that's unlikely to be of much use. Look at the time my opponent has taken. He's only made 2 moves, and he's burnt up 8 minutes of time. Gossamer onto an R. Now, what about this? Well, quite a few bingos through an N. Magnetos, for example. But the column 11 double-double has proved elusive. Fortunately, my opponent has given me a lot of thinking time. Wagsome, possibly. That doesn't play. What about exogams? Is that good? If it is, it does play as a double. but not a double-double. So that wasn't great, although I have identified romarges in column 3. And if I play that, I don't think recloses takes a front hook, and in particular, I don't think it takes a P. Now, another double-double lane, row K, beginning with A. And maybe that might be more productive. I might as well look through this again, considering an A on my rack as well, while my opponent is spending time. Now, just going back. Well, that's hemagogs through a G. Omages. That was the 7 I didn't identify before. And that doesn't go. Okay. So I'm back to thinking about plays this rack with an A on my rack. Now, nice play by my opponent. I'm going to challenge it just in case it's boonies rather than booners, although I think they're both good. Yep. So how does that change things? My romarges has gone. Omages does play though. Wow, glad I spotted that in column 1. I'm going to finish looking for bingos beginning with A with this rack. I think there could be one, but I may have missed it. Wagsome. I think I've considered that before. I wasn't too sure. Now, column 1 also available for a massive overlap. So, I think I'm going to play Omages. Could well be something better. Omages for 81. Horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. I have hip-ins, which would sort the rack out, but I can't see anywhere great for that. It does play in column 7, but for face value. 3 I's and 2 P's. I guess that can be sorted out by playing PP, which doesn't play in column 11. It does play in column 3. And it doesn't quite play in column 6. But I think that's a fairly... Well, a P and 2 I's is fairly minimum requirement, I think. Such a shame. This rack wouldn't need to be much different to have a good score in column 1 with my H or P next to the O. But I've got nothing which goes in front of B. Now, PP also plays in column 3, so I think I've got my move, either PP at the top of column 3 or at the bottom of column 3. And then the rack leave HIN is promising. I've got the H for score and potential for a bingo. Of the tiles which score more than 2 points, the H is one of the more bingo-y. Just wondering if I have a bingo through the S. I've got the ship ending, but I don't think there's anything there. And I can't see anything running parallel to quail, which gets my P or H on after LA. So what about a play beginning here, or beginning PH? Nope, can't see anything. Gosh, so if I had a play ending IPH, that would score really well, and I don't. 8 minutes on my opponent's clock. He is behind. Wow. Okay. I thought he might be ahead. He's bingoed twice. but I guess I have as well. Quail takes an S in front. Hod takes out my PP spot at the bottom of column 3 because I doesn't go in front of TO. What I can do, though, is play it here for 30 points. And I think I will. Not great, just the one vowel left over from my previous rack, but I think this rack is tractable. I can see 9th and fix on it. Astonishingly, this column 11 spot has remained available, although I still can't make much use of it. Fix plays at the top of column 8. I would have infix through an I. U takes an E in front. Quail takes an S in front. I can't see anywhere amazing for my X. And if I do play fix, the rack leave of HNNT is potentially quite problematic. Although I note it does include NTH, which is a word in its own right. So, although this rack looks grim, it's a long way from being a changing rack. Now, fix and fed is quite nice if fix at the top of column 8 is blocked. 40 points at the bottom of column 3. 48 at the top of column 8. It would be nice to play fixed rather than fix, just in terms of the rack leave. But I can't see a way of doing that. My X can go next to LA, but can't see any way of getting it to score twice. I don't have any plays ending INX. I don't have anything in column 1. BI takes an O in front. 2 of those to come. Both blanks have gone. 6 minutes on my opponent's clock. 38 tiles in the bag. Or unseen, one or the other. So I've got my 2 spots for fix. Is there anything else I'm missing? Okay. There goes the lowest scoring one. I don't have anything beginning with D. So let me get fixed down and get my opponent's clock running again. Great. How many vowels are left? 16 vowels out of 39 tiles, so slightly under half. Now my N can go next to the Y. So I could play then, toe and high, and that would obstruct column 11 plays, which I'd like to do since I'm 60 points ahead. What about playing through the O of recloses? Yes, indeedy. I've got Roth, W-R-O-T-H. It does keep 2 ends, but it burns 4 tiles, and there are no ends to come, so I think that's okay. Certainly the score of about 40 points is pretty good from a rack which looks this desperate, or this poor. NTH would sort out all the duplicates on the rack. Can't see anywhere for that. So 4 minutes on my opponent's clock. One S to come and a few E's, both blanks gone. Still some R's and T's, so I think the remaining tile's fairly bingo-y. Great, only 30 points for my opponent. And he's picking up 5 random tiles. So let's see what this scores. 44 points, fantastic. And still just the one vowel. Maybe my opponent will be drowning in them. But again, I think this rack is tractable. The N goes next to the Y, so this E is available for something. And my F can go next to the Y as well. So I've got Jen, or I've got Gent. Do I have anything in column 11? Which astonishingly is still available. Still one O to come for OB. My lead is 70 points, so a bingo would destroy that. And certainly a double-double in bingo, a double-double bingo in column 11 would bring my opponent right back into contention. That's likely to score 100 points regardless of what it is. But apart from that column 11 double-double spot, the rest of the board not looking too hot. I guess column 1 potentially pretty good for an O something word. What goes in front of OP that's left? The K. So something something OK would score a lot. And my F can go there as well, were I to have an O. I haven't identified my best play. Great, only 18 points and my opponent takes out a super dangerous spot. So what do I now have in column 8? Well, I guess it was Gent was the play I saw. And that's quite nice because it's retaining the F for score and I guess the possibility of an OF word, although I suspect there aren't many of those with only one O to come, so that wouldn't be a real reason for keeping it. What would be a real reason is simply to have it as a scoring tile. Gent for 13 is pretty tragic. So can I do better than that? 14 minutes on my clock, 2 on my opponent's clock. It would be quite nice to play quickly because of to put pressure on my opponent. But I also want to make the right play. I've got the ing ending, so is there something stronger coming down here? I don't think teening is good. Or teething. Just 13 just doesn't seem very much. Nothing goes in front of R. Okay, well, I am going to go with Gent. Well, I draw vowels, which is good. The rack as a whole is pretty ropey, but that's just about okay since I'm ahead. Although my opponent's catching me up, 35 points. So I'm only 30 points or 29 points ahead, 14 tiles to come. I could play Fig, column 4, 21 points. And the board as a whole, pretty tight, so I'm inclined to do that. No U's to come, so I'm not too bothered about having a single U on my rack. Now through an R, I would have fruiting. Just the floating F at the moment. So Fig for 21, and that stops my opponent placing an O next to OB, so it just totally takes out column 1. And I draw the J, which can be a useful scoring tile. Wow, 43 points. My opponent only 7 points behind now. He is really catching me up. 6 tiles to come, including some high-scoring ones. So, what to do? This to do. Look at this. Jun, 42 points. Bang. I have Tavert, which is a bingo. That plays in row N, making tar and R. Do I have any other bingos? Gent doesn't take anything after it that I've got. Only my E goes after Nye. My lead has gone up to 49 points. 3 tiles in the bag. So my opponent could do with a massive Z score, but I can't see where that could come from. And my opponent has taken my bingo lane, which would have guaranteed the win. Beak takes nothing in front of it, so row M not available. He's emptied the bag. I can see what he's got. He's got 6 tiles. He can't go out in 1 with that rack. So 12 minutes on my clock. Nearly 2 minutes on my opponent's clock, so he's dealt with the time trouble pretty well in the end. My A and I can both go after K, so do I have a 6-letter play? Don't think I do. Do I have anything which goes after Ni? No. So this board is really short on opportunities. Can't see any 5-letter extension to JA. I've got 11 minutes on my clock, so I'm not in time trouble. But I am in word trouble in the sense that I'm struggling to find a good play. I'm 23 points ahead, so I need to go out in 2 and score okay. I would have tractive through a C, through this C, if it were differently placed. Now I've got a Cavetti, I think. Cavetto, 24 points. Do I have 2 spots for the R? TOR and RE? I do. Is this providing a massive Z spot for my opponent? I don't think so, so I'm going with this. I hope it's good. It'll be pretty disastrous if it comes off, because I'm sure there were plenty of outs in 2, and almost any out in 2 would win. I don't think this E next to a double word square is particularly dangerous. My opponent's got a lot of vowels. So where's the best spot for my R? Here for 5. Yeah, just 26 points. So I'm still in the lead. 10 minutes on my clock. R and jar. 14 points. Yeah, that's the best, I think. Just wait for my opponent to formally end the game, which he does. And the final score. 404 to my opponent, 445 to me, a winning margin of 41 points. So, pretty exciting game. My opponent nearly clawed his way back to victory, but I hung on. Let's see what I missed. It was me to go first. I played E-close, and I still like that, although C does have some merit. Nice rack for my opponent. It doesn't look nice, but it is, because he's got a noisy. My rack, and I played U for 31, and I still like that. That looks pretty good. Opponent plays Quail. He could have got 44 points at H2 with Roke. Now, Lacunate and Cannulate, the only bingos. Now, let me just check, since I dwelt on it, whether Lacunate does take a D. Nope. So is it Cannulate? Yeah, so Cannulated is good, Lacunated isn't. Great. Well, I think I decided the opposite in game time, so I'm glad I didn't try putting a letter on the end of Lacunate. So this is my opponent's rack. And he played Booners, which was a good spot, and there were other options. And I had this fabulous rack. I played Homages for 81. Also available, Imagos in the same spot. I didn't see that. But look at these other bingos, all of which I missed, I think. Gamesome, M1, through the E. Mesoglea through the same E, Megadose through that E, Main JOs through the A, but not a double-double, and Sagamore. So quite a few 8s there. But Homage is one of the top 2 plays. Opponent's rack plays Hod, and I have PP, which I was quite grateful to find because it sorted out a pretty horrendous rack. Wow, look at that. My opponent only had 1 vowel as well, even though the remaining tiles looked fairly balanced and I was short. 24 for my opponent. And then I have fixed for 48. And at this stage, we're neck and neck, but the 48 points puts me 2/3 of a bingo ahead. No bingo for my opponent. He's got Drolled on his rack, but it doesn't play anywhere. Plays Dodder. Now, I play Roth for 44, but I could have split up that duplicate N by playing Throne. Wow. In the same spot, so Throne would have been better. Opponent plays Al, and now I'm 50 points ahead. Feeling fairly comfortable. Netting D9. Okay, I don't like that. Too many floaters and access to triple word squares. So I played Gent for 13. Yeah, not many plays scoring more than 13. Fouling, F8. Again, sticking tiles out in the open, which I don't like. Opponent plays Rab for 35, and this is where he started to breathe down my neck, as it were. I had been feeling fairly comfortable, but some poor racks and some good scoring by my opponent had brought him up to a position where he could have caught me without a bingo. And this isn't a great rack to have in that situation. Look at all these scores, barely above 20. And I do Fig for 21, which I like. And now this is where my opponent spooks me slightly with Scary for 43. Only 7 points behind now and 6 tiles in the bag. But fortunately, Jern was available for 42. This rack didn't look like there was a 40-point play on offer, but there was. Jaunty also available through the A, but I think Jun better. Opponent plays Beak, which scuppered my bingo, I think. Yep, and I play Cavetti, which pretty much guaranteed me the win. My opponent would have needed to have gone out in 1 and scored well. And he doesn't have that. So he plays Zoa, and I have R for 14. So a pretty exciting game with my opponent clawing his way back into it and me managing to hang on at the death. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I will see you next time.